The Young and the Restless, spoilers update for the week of January 19, 2023, reveals that Victoria Newman will make a bold move while Abby Winters and Devin Winters face disaster. Jack Abbott will also blast Billy Abbott, so some exciting stuff is coming up. After Sienna Bacall listens in on Nick Newman's discussion with Noah Newman, she'll sound the alarm to Victor Newman about his son's fatal Matt Clark plot. YNR spoilers say Victor will insist on handling Matt himself, but Nick isn't going to like it. Sharon Newman will also struggle with some growing fears about Nick's injury and all the pills he's gulping down to deal with the pain. As for Billy, he'll make some serious waves thanks to his willingness to consider Cain Ashby's chancellor offer. Billy will rile up Victoria Newman along with Jack, who won't think his brother should make this mess any worse. Jack especially won't like the idea of Chancellor being yanked away from Nikki Newman, but Billy may insist he never should have lost it to begin with. Sally Spectra will fume as Billy continues making bad decisions, so she'll ultimately take her complaints straight to Cain. Cain and Phyllis Summers will also get a visit from Victoria, who'll make a bold move against Cain at some point. Victoria might give Lily Winters the latest news about her ex, so Cain might get an angry phone call or video chat. After Chelsea Lawson shows Nikki that she's a loyal Newman team player, she'll clash with Phyllis at Crimson Lights. Chelsea will make it known that she's coming for Phyllis and Cain along with the rest of their enemies. During Jack's visit to the Newman ranch, he'll share a warm embrace with Nikki. Victor will apparently arrive in time to witness it and deliver a fierce warning to Jack soon enough. In the meantime, Holden Novak and Audra Charles will have a nice conversation with Amy Lewis as they seek a clean slate. Over with Mariah Copeland, she'll sink even further into insanity thanks to her Ian Ward visions and the path he's been pushing her down. Abby and Devin will soon face every parent's worst nightmare, since all signs point to Mariah kidnapping Dominic Newman Abbott Winters Chancellor. The Young and the Restless spoilers say some Dominic chaos will erupt and leave Devin scrambling along with Abby, so stick with us for updates on the scary ordeal to come. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless' Newman family is going through a heck of a time now that Cain and Phyllis are taking control of Newman Enterprises. In the sneak previews for next week, Victoria visits Cain and Phyllis and makes it clear that she will not allow them to take possession of her family's company. How does Victoria plan to reclaim NE? Victoria has always been considered the female version of her father, Victor. Well, we sure saw Victor's side of her emerge in the Young and the Restless sneak previews for next week. She stormed into Cain's office with guns blazing, fully prepared to reclaim her family's company, Newman Enterprises, after Cain and Phyllis stole it by using the AI program. What is Victoria's strategy of attack? We haven't seen this ruthless side of Victoria in quite some time, ever since she found out that her firstborn child, Claire Wire, never died as an infant. Victoria's softer side came out as she developed a close relationship with Claire, and also when she reconnected with Cole, Claire's father. We've also enjoyed seeing Victoria's warm side emerge as she's been rekindling a friendship with her ex-boyfriend, Nate. But now that Newman Enterprises is under attack, we are seeing a comeback of badass businesswoman Victoria Newman, which is going to make for must-see TV on YNR. She is clearly planning to bring out the big guns so that Cain and Phyllis know who they are dealing with. But does Victoria have a plan in mind? Victoria and Adam have been pulling together and working with the Newman tech team to try to salvage NE. It would be awesome if Victoria and Adam would confront Cain and Phyllis together. They've spent most of their lives at odds with each other. But last year, Adam was a supportive brother to Victoria while Cole was in the hospital and after he died. It's been nice to see the strides Victoria and Adam have made toward becoming closer. These two siblings would deliver a great 1-2 punch to Cain and Phyllis. Victoria is good at remaining cool, calm, and collected. Adam is great at being snarky and sarcastic, and he's almost as ruthless as Victor is. Imagine what this brother-sister duo could achieve if they were to team up against Cain and Phyllis with the common goal of saving NE. Nick takes a lot of heat from the Young and the Restless fans when he goes into caveman mode and physically assaults his enemies. But we've got to hand it to him. He gave Phyllis a wicked tongue lashing after he learned what she and Cain did to NE, and all while he was struggling with an injured leg. He knows he's the only Newman who has been close to her in the past, considering that they were married and they share a daughter, Summer. He figured that if anyone could talk some sense into Phyllis, it would be him. Too bad it didn't work. And even Victor didn't get anywhere with Cain or Phyllis when he confronted them. So, now it appears that it's Victoria's turn, and she looks like she's ready to play hardball. But if she doesn't make any progress getting any back, then does that mean Adam will be the next Newman to show up at Cain's office? And then Nikki will show up next? Is Victoria prepared to offer Cain and Phyllis something valuable in exchange for Newman Enterprises? What might that be? This sneak peek promises to deliver some good drama next week, and it's going to be fun to see Victoria in business mode again. Let the battle begin. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the next 2 weeks, January 19th to January 30th, reveal that Cain Ashby will face a crushing blow while Sharon Newman spies trouble. Mariah Copeland will also get an ominous message, so here's what Y&R fans can expect. During the week of January 19 to 23, Sienna Bacall will overhear Nick Newman's fatal Matt Clark plans, so she'll race over to tell Victor Newman. Victor will insist on taking over for Nick, and will make it clear that none of the Newmans will ever have to worry about Matt again. Nick will continue popping pills, and will obviously be in a great deal of pain, so Sharon will observe all that and grow concerned. Sharon may sense that trouble is brewing if Nick keeps pushing himself too hard and ordering more painkiller refills. As for Billy Abbott, it looks like he'll be ready to accept Cain's chancellor offer, but Victoria Newman will blow up at him over it. Sally Spectra will also have a problem with Billy's deal, so she'll confront Cain and put him on full blast. Will Cain and Billy's agreement move forward anyway, or will it get derailed in the end? Either way, Victoria will refuse to accept the idea of Cain and Phyllis Summers running the show at Newman Enterprises. Cain will want to make this Newman takeover official, but Victoria will strike a blow that's going to hurt. Victoria might get in touch with Lily Winters and get her to video chat with Cain, or something along those lines. Lily could at least call Cain to rip into him and point out that his kids are going to hate him even more thanks to all this Newman drama. Cain was surely expecting the backlash, but it'll still crush him a bit if Lily calls to berate him. As for Phyllis, she'll dig her heels in on this Cain alliance and will clash with Chelsea Lawson at Newman Enterprises as well. At the ranch, Victor will spot Nikki Newman in Jack Abbott's arms, so that'll bring another round of hostility between Jack and Victor. Over with Holden Novak and Audra Charles, they'll speak with Amy Lewis and try to smooth over any past mistakes. Next, Abby Winters and Devin Winters will enjoy some time in the park, but things are about to take an alarming turn for their family. Mariah will get an ominous message as Ian Ward continues to haunt her mind, so it looks like she'll get the final push she needs to kidnap Dominic Newman Abbott Winters Chancellor. It looks like a slightly older actor will take over the role of Dominic as this kidnapping storyline begins. Once the week of January 26-30 gets underway, Devin and Abby will realize Dominic is missing and fly into panic mode. Abby and Devin presumably won't know Mariah is involved at first, so this will become a mystery for them to tackle with Detective Burrows' help. As for Victor and Jack, their feud could turn into an alliance if they can keep a truce long enough. Jack and Victor will indeed try becoming allies at some point, so Cain and Phyllis may have a double threat ahead of them. The Young and the Restless spoilers say the next 2 weeks will force multiple characters to deal with whatever shocking news is on the horizon. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Nick Newman could be gearing up for a shocking affair. Will Nick's drug problem spiral into some romantic blow-ups? Shortly after Nick woke up following his surgery, he was hit with some severe pain due to his leg injury. Nick got his meds upped, which was the first sign that a drug addiction storyline might be in the works. After what happened in the January 15th episode, we're more convinced than ever that Nick's indeed going to get addicted to painkillers. Nick popped pills and realized he'd need a refill soon, but he hasn't even been out of the hospital a whole day yet. At this rate, Nick is most definitely headed for trouble in the drug department. Unfortunately, this could also lead to bad news for Nick's relationship with Sharon Newman. Although Nick and Sharon haven't officially reunited or put a label on what they are right now, they're obviously headed back down a romantic road. Sadly, Nick may become so consumed by his need for pills that his relationship with Sharon gets shoved aside. That's especially true if Sharon senses something's up and gets pushed away. Nick may handle this all wrong and find himself in the arms of a very different woman instead. There are at least a couple options to consider if that happens. One possibility might be Phyllis Summers, since there's a thin line between love and hate. Nick is furious with Phyllis due to her involvement in Cain Ashby's AI attack on Newman Enterprises, but anger can sometimes be a trigger for passion. Phyllis and Nick could end up surrendering to a powerful pull toward each other at some point. Another option might be if Nick and Sienna Bacall land in bed together. If Y&R takes the story in that direction, Nick could blow up Noah Newman's relationship with Sienna and destroy his own bond with his son at the same time. There were some hints about Sienna having a brother who died, most likely of a drug overdose. We could see how Sienna might try to help Nick and fall for him in the process, so it could lead to some lines getting crossed. Whatever the case, Nick is seemingly headed down a drug-addicted path, so stick with us for updates on all the chaos that'll lead to. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Nick's entering a difficult new chapter that'll inevitably have some stunning consequences. The Young and the Restless spoilers weekly update for January 19th to 23 reveal that Victor finds Nikki in a compromising position with Jack, and that's sure to be explosive. Plus, Mariah receives a haunting message, and so much more. Tune in next week so you can catch all of the action in Genoa City. Victor quietly double-crossed Jack after appearing to entertain a possible truce, using the meeting as a distraction while the AI threat against Jabot continued to loom. Jack walked away believing negotiations were still possible, unaware Victor had already shifted strategy behind the scenes. Elsewhere, Cain surprised Phyllis with an unexpected move that validated her ambitions, at a moment when she felt increasingly sidelined and underestimated. The surprise strengthened their alliance and emboldened Phyllis to push back harder against Victor. Meanwhile, Nikki signaled she was done staying silent while Victor's choices once again placed the family in danger. Victor backed Cain into a corner, making it clear that defiance would come at a steep cost and that he was prepared to retaliate if Cain didn't fall in line. Cain refused to be intimidated, escalating tensions and further entrenching the conflict between them. At Newman Enterprises, Victoria and Adam worked overtime on damage control as the AI threat destabilized the company from within, forcing them to project confidence while scrambling behind the scenes. Over at the Abbott mansion, Diane delivered Jack a firm ultimatum, warning that his careful neutrality was no longer protecting anyone and that Victor's war would inevitably land at their door. Victor and Nikki argued fiercely over family business, with Nikki challenging Victor's refusal to acknowledge the long-term consequences of his actions. Their clash exposed deep divisions about legacy, loyalty, and the cost of endless power struggles. Elsewhere, Nick took matters into his own hands after realizing Victor wasn't being fully honest about the growing danger surrounding Matt Clark. His decision marked a turning point that would ripple through the family. Meanwhile, Sharon helped Tessa navigate a difficult personal decision about her relationship with Mariah. Sally forced Billy to come clean about his secret meeting with Cain and the offer of Chancellor, refusing to let him deflect or minimize the truth. Billy admitted he was tempted, exposing a widening rift between them rooted in trust, ambition, and conflicting priorities. Across town, Phyllis defended her actions with Cain, insisting she was done playing by Victor's rules and determined to secure power on her own terms. Meanwhile, Nick kept a dangerous secret about Matt from Sharon. Nick turned to Jack for help as the situation with Matt Clark spiraled beyond his control, urging him to act before Victor could regain the upper hand. Jack listened carefully but hesitated, believing containment was safer than escalation. That decision proved costly when Noah made a shocking discovery, opening the trunk of Nick's car and finding Matt unconscious and restrained. Elsewhere, Diane grilled Michael for intel about Victor's plans, sensing Newman Enterprises was under attack and determined to ensure Jack wasn't walking blindly into yet another one of Victor's traps. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Jack Abbott still has Matt Clark in his custody. Of course, we all know that Jack doesn't have a quiet little dungeon like Victor Newman kept Aunt Jordan in. It seems that Matt will manage to get loose from his captors and attack both companies. Cain Ashby and Phyllis Summers have managed to cause the AI program to turn on its host. Now Victor is scrambling to try to get the program back under control. In the meantime, other people have been trying to move assets or hide assets to keep them safe while Victor tries to deal with Cain and Phyllis Summers Stafford. Nikki Newman is furious over what Cain and Phyllis have done to Newman Enterprises. Funny how it was fine when Victor used in on Cain's company. Victor believes that Newman is too big to fall, but Cain and Phyllis are doing their best to make that happen. Cain is simply not interested in negotiating. Jack has put the pieces together enough to know that Victor has lost everything, and the AI program is why. Diane Abbott is loving this and is rooting for the underdogs here. Jack still doesn't necessarily trust that someone isn't going to go after Jabot, so he will stay on his toes for a while yet. Now would be the perfect time for Matt to escape from custody. Winter spoilers suggest that Matt is going to have the opportunity to make his escape and go after the Newmans and the Abbotts, while they are both distracted by the AI program issues. Could Matt manage to get a hit in edgewise to keep both of them off balance until they finally return? Will Matt get some big strikes in before he is caught again? Jack cannot risk letting Matt go because he knows what he will do if he gets the opportunity. Jack can keep him locked up or hand him to the cops. However, Matt also has a reason to go after both of them. Victor could kidnap Matt and turn him loose on Jabot and make a deal with him to leave Newman Enterprises along. Will Matt stick to the deal? Victor may have to decide the worst of two evils, but of course, he could always choose wrong. Working with Matt has never been anything that most people want to agree to. Will Victor be careless enough to try? Some of the young and the restless stars are at it again, having fun behind the scenes, and Melissa Claire Egan shared the latest comical video of the crew putting on a funny show for you. The actress posted it on her official Instagram with the caption, "Just another day at the office." The video started with Laura Lee Bell stating, "I'll be there for you 90% of the time," as Egan replied, "Your version of 90 anyways is just unacceptable." The camera then panned to Melissa Ordway, who ordered someone to take off her boot, only to scream, "Oh my God, my boot, not my foot!" Up next came Joshua Morrow, who had his voice disguised and saying, "Everything you're saying is going in one ear and out the other." Then there was a shot of Brighton James screeching, "This is this land of your people," as Cameron Grimes corrected, "This is not the land, this is Glendale," which was an old quote from Kourtney Kardashian that went viral on TikTok. There were more funny snippets involving Sharon Case, Lucas Adams, Jason Thompson, Amelia Heinle, Sean Dominic, Michael Gratiaday, and Mark Grossman demanding to know, "Why are you so lazy?" As Eric Braeden replied to his on-screen son, "I'm not lazy, I, bleeping, taught you how to work." And after Melody Thomas Scott said with disgust, "This is so inappropriate and embarrassing," the reel ended with Courtney Hope stating, "Call me when you want to be honest." As you can imagine, their daytime peers and fans alike got a kick out of the backstage shenanigans, and we can't wait to see what they get up to next. The young and the restless spoilers suggest that Summer Newman's name keeps getting dropped in the land of Genoa City, which means there's a good chance she may come back to her hometown. As her parents, Nick Newman and Phyllis Summers, are locked in battle, will she return with rage, and who will that rage be directed towards? The Young and the Restless, spoilers for the Thursday, January 15th episode, indicate that Nick and Phyllis got into a heated argument, which is not like these two exes. However, Cain Ashby's influence in Red's life seems to rub Nick the wrong way. With that said, Phyllis was a part of Cain's AI software scam that has ruined Newman Enterprises, and Nick tried to encourage his ex-wife to end the nonsense. She refused to, which is when he reminded her that Newman isn't only Victor Newman's legacy, but his daughter, Summers, who is just as much a Newman as he is. He also warned he'd go to Summer with all the details of what her mom has been up to. Nick proceeded to call Summer, and while the entire conversation didn't play out on canvas, fans deduced that he filled her in on what her mom had done. Will Summer take sides in all this? Summer has been mentioned a lot during recent weeks and months. The character left storylines in May 2025, and her exit to Italy was supposed to be short-term. Could Summer be making her way back to GC to mediate her parents' argument, or at least knock some sense into Phyllis? Then again, there's no guarantee Summer would be #how Team Newman. After all, her grandpa, Victor, hasn't been gentle with Phyllis over the years, and Summer knows that. She also knows the dirty moves Victor has played over the years, so can she be mad at her mom for pulling the wool over the mustache's eyes? Or will a part of her be proud of Phyllis for being the one to get one over Victor? She may also get annoyed with Nick for putting her in the middle of all this. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Monday, January 19th suggest some major moments in Genoa City. Someone gets some valuable intel, while two siblings work well together, and a character ignores pivotal orders. What's on the horizon for Monday? Time to find out. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Monday, January 19th, indicate that Sienna Bacall will offer some valuable intel for Victor Newman. Could this be information about Matt Clark, aka Mitch Bacall? The last fans saw Matt. He was in the truck of Nick Newman's car, and Noah Newman was in the know about his father's plan for Matt. During the weekly preview, a scene is shown where Sienna overhears Nick and Noah talking. So will she run to Victor and tell him the plans his son and grandson have for her husband? Will Victor even care? Speaking of Nick, he'll ignore the doctor's orders. When has he followed them so far? Nick checked himself out of the hospital way too early and has been struggling since. For someone recovering from a car accident, Nick is doing everything wrong, so will he end up collapsing at the worst moment? It'll be all about the Newman family come the January 19th episode, as The Young and the Restless spoilers for Monday state that Victoria Newman and Adam Newman will work as a team to save Newman Enterprises. These two siblings have come a very long way, so it's nice to see that they are working together for the greater good of their family. With that said, even though they are doing all they can to stop Cain Ashby's AI software from decimating their father's legacy, will they be successful? Fans will have to tune in to find out. What storyline are you most looking forward to during Monday's show? Comment below. The Young and the Restless recap for Monday, January 19th reveals that Sienna Bacall will make an emergency Victor Newman visit and get some help stopping Nick Newman's Matt Clark mistake. At Sharon Newman's house, Noah Newman will come inside with Nick while Matt is still unconscious in the trunk. Nick will take his last pain pill and defend his plan to get rid of Matt for good. Noah will argue that if Nick goes through with this, then he'll be an accessory along with the Abbotts. Nick will admit he never wanted anyone else involved, but he'll remain determined to deal with Matt permanently. Nick will act like he can do this without getting caught, and even if he goes down, he'll suggest it'll be worth it to know Matt can't come after the people he cares about anymore. At one point, Sienna will overhear Nick's plot to kill Matt, so she'll sneak out and decide to make a bold move of her own. At the main house on the ranch, Adam Newman will give Victor updates from the IT team. There'll be some talk about an algorithm designed to trick the AI software into attacking the wrong targets, so Victor will give the green light to try it. Victoria Newman will join Adam and Victor as they discuss this whole mess. Although Victor will suggest he could turn the case over to the authorities, Victoria will point out that Victor used the AI program first, and that could come back to bite them. When Sienna interrupts and asks to speak with Victor alone, Adam and Victoria will take off to meet Chelsea Lawson at the coffee house. That'll give Chelsea, Victoria, and Adam a chance to strategize about how to break Cain and Phyllis by dialing up the deviousness. Back with Sienna, she'll give Victor the news about Nick having Matt in his trunk and planning to kill him. Sienna will admit Noah's been trying to talk Nick out of it, but she won't think Noah's getting through to him. Although Sienna will admit she hates Matt for all his lies and horrible behavior, she'll want Victor's help since Nick isn't handling this the right way. Victor will sense that Sienna truly cares about Noah and will urge her to call him Victor instead of Mr. Newman. Sienna will acknowledge that she's in love with Noah, but she'll doubt they have a real future since Noah wants to stay in Genoa City. After Sienna mentions missing Los Angeles, Victor will suggest that perhaps she's right about going home when this is all over. At the cottage again, Sharon will come downstairs and find out about Nick's fatal Matt plan. Although Sharon will understand the impulse, she'll warn Nick that it'll haunt him if he goes through with it. Besides, Sharon will wonder if Nick's even capable of dealing with Matt while injured and hopped up on pills. There'll be concerns about Matt escaping again, but Nick will stand his ground. Next on Monday's Y&R episode, Sienna will return with Victor, who'll insist Nick needs to stop all this and leave Matt to him. Nick will object, but he'll eventually relent enough to ask what Victor will do to Matt if he hands him over. Victor will think it's best if no one knows, but that won't be good enough for Nick. However, it'll be good enough for Noah, Sharon, and Sienna. Nick will face pressure to see a doctor and focus on regaining his strength while Victor takes over. Victor will reiterate that he'll take care of Matt and add that Nick doesn't need to worry about it. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Victor will be ready to do what needs to be done, so stay tuned. The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates for the week of January 19th to 23 indicate that Victor Newman will contemplate a partner for revenge. In the meanwhile, Michael Baldwin finds himself in a difficult situation, and Devin and Abby Winters face a crisis. To begin with, Cain Ashby will celebrate his recent triumph over Victor by granting Billy Abbott a win of his own. Whether this entails a commitment to transfer Newman Enterprises, Chancellor, or something else entirely, Cain will certainly have something to present to the vengeful Billy. Meanwhile, Phyllis Summers will persist in reveling in her role in this success. Phyllis will firmly support Cain, even if it means facing discontent from Daniel Romalotti Jr. and Summer Newman for a time. Cain and Phyllis will continue with the wins, even though Victor knows they're behind cybercrimes. As Billy delves deeper into his obsession with revenge, his relationship with Sally Spectra will face increasing challenges. The romance between Sally and Billy is set to undergo significant tests in the upcoming episodes. Meanwhile, Victor is not one to simply accept defeat. That's not his style. Instead, he will devise a plan to pull Michael further into the Newman family drama. Lauren Fenmore Baldwin will have her own concerns regarding Michael's role and the lengths he might go for Newman Enterprises. However, it appears that Victor is ready to adopt an unexpected strategy, as spoilers for 26 indicate a potential alliance with Jack. Even though Victor and Jack will likely never fully trust one another, they may find a way to cooperate long enough to target Cain and Phyllis. While Nick Newman attempts to put an end to the chaos caused by Matt Clark, a new kidnapping threat will emerge elsewhere. Mariah Copeland is becoming increasingly unstable due to her visions of Ian Ward. She may come to believe that it is her fate to kidnap Dominic Newman Abbott, Winters' Chancellor. Devin and Abby will share some joyful moments in the park, but everything will shift dramatically once Dominic is ultimately taken, sparking a mystery. Naturally, Y&R fans will be privy to more information than Abby and Devin, as it will be Mariah orchestrating Dominic's abduction, with Detective Burrow stepping in to help unravel the situation. Mariah was fixated on the baby during her surrogacy, naming him Bowie before he was born. Of course, that was a stressful time in itself, since Ben Stitch Rayburn had felt it his duty to protect the baby for Abby. The Young and the Restless spoilers indicate that the week of January 19th to 23 will unveil shocking revelations and cunning schemes, so keep an eye out for updates on all the unfolding drama. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Tuesday, January 20th, reveal that Victor Newman will decide Matt Clark's fate, while Chelsea Lawson offers some proof and Victoria Newman slams Billy Abbott. First on Tuesday's Y&R episode, it looks like Victoria will get updates on the Chancellor offer that Cain Ashby made to Billy. Although Billy is obviously tempted to jump at the chance, there are plenty of complications here. Sally Spectra already warned Billy about her disapproval, so Victoria will be next in line. As far as Victoria's concerned, it'll be a major betrayal if Billy strikes a deal with Cain when he's attacking her family's business. Since Nikki Newman currently runs Chancellor, Victoria will defend her mom as the best person for the job, and will perhaps argue that Catherine Chancellor wouldn't want all this drama over it. Victoria will definitely slam Billy for even thinking about this Chancellor deal and may warn that his kids will be disappointed in him if he goes through with this. As for Chelsea, she'll offer up some proof to Nikki that she's a devoted Newman. Chelsea will show Nikki that she's a team player, so Nikki may commend her for standing by Adam Newman and doing her part to save Newman Enterprises. After Nick Newman reluctantly gives up control of Matt, it'll be up to Victor to decide what to do with him. Victor will plan to make sure Matt isn't a problem for his loved ones ever again. But how exactly will he achieve that? Will Victor take fatal action against Matt? Or perhaps take the shady imprisonment route like he did with Jordan at one point? Matt has proven that he knows how to get out of plenty of tricky situations and has cheated his own demise before. No matter what Victor chooses to do, there could be more Matt trouble down the road. The Young and the Restless spoilers suggest that Victor will seal Matt's fate one way or another, so we'll bring you more news on all the excitement. The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates tease that Cain Ashby might be playing a strategic game regarding his retaliation against Phyllis Summers. Is Cain preparing his new partner for a significant downfall? Fans of Y&R will remember that Phyllis consistently lied after she took the AI program and gave it to Victor Newman. For a long time, Phyllis pretended to be innocent instead of being truthful with Cain, who had asked for honesty, leading him to promise revenge. However, much has changed since that time, or at least it appears that way. Given Y&R's tendency for plots involving secret manipulation, could Cain still be harboring vengeful intentions towards Phyllis? After all, it was quite strange to see Cain suddenly switch gears and fully commit to Phyllis as a partner. There are valid reasons to doubt Cain's change in attitude. One moment, Cain was shouting at Phyllis to keep her distance, and the next, he was revealing a secret AI program element that could wreak havoc at Newman Enterprises. It's true that Cain was distressed over Lily Winters leaving, and his children officially severing ties with him. However, part of Cain might hold Phyllis accountable since she encouraged his Aristotle Dumas persona. Additionally, Lily saw another kiss exchanged between Cain and Phyllis before her New Year's Eve visit. Even though Lily later got caught up in a kiss with Cain herself, it wasn't sufficient to prevent her from pushing him away again and declaring her departure from Genoa City. It's possible that Cain blames Phyllis, at least in part, for continually creating chaos and undermining his progress with Lily. If that's true, Phyllis may have unwittingly stepped into a significant revenge trap. Phyllis is finally achieving what she has long pursued, which is a substantial victory, along with bragging rights. We're hearing her assert that this is what she has desired for so long. But what if Cain is just going to snatch it away in the end, leaving her to face a devastating setback? Phyllis looked surprised that Cain included her in his plan, since he didn't have to. She hasn't signed anything guaranteeing her wishes like Cain claims. We can picture Cain letting Phyllis settle into the CEO role at Newman, then revealing it was never hers. He might even bar her from the building, showing that this is the revenge he wanted. Phyllis could go from winning to losing in an instant. Something feels off about their partnership now. Should Phyllis be cautious? The Young and the Restless spoilers suggest Cain might have shocking news soon, so stay tuned to see if bad news is on the way for Phyllis. Be sure to catch up on everything happening with Y&R right now. Come back here often for the Young and the Restless spoilers, news, and updates. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal a preview clip has been released for the week of January 19th, 2026. It shows Victoria Newman going to war. Sienna Bacall overhears a conversation. Also, Nick Newman has a plan for Matt Clark. Keep reading, and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Let's start off with Cain Ashby and Phyllis Summers. As the redhead stands in the office, Cain talks about what is next. The tycoon declares that they basically have Newman Enterprises and its subsidiaries. Then, he adds that they just have to take control of the company. However, Cain and Phyllis's conversation is interrupted. Victoria comes roaring in there on a mission. The woman declares that they will take control over her dead body. Over at Sharon Newman's place, Nick and Noah Newman discuss the problem in the trunk. Nick made a deal with Jack Abbott and Kylie Abbott. Nick was right that Jack is too moral to let Matt go loose. Now Nick has the man in the trunk of his car. However, Nick ended up running into Noah. In a preview clip, Nick tries to tell his son not to worry about it. However, Noah says, "Dad, Matt Clark is unconscious in the trunk of your car. Of course, I'm going to worry about it." The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of January 19th reveal that Nick tells Noah that Matt needs to disappear. Then, Nick adds that there is nobody who is going to talk him out of it. This must be the big secret that Nick keeps from Sharon. While Nick says that Matt needs to disappear, it seems that killing him would be too easy. Will Nick try to hold Matt hostage as Victor Newman did with Jordan? I know Nick isn't well, but he does have a rather deranged look in his eyes. Young and the Restless, spoilers for John, hint. 23-26. Indicate Phyllis Summers is mocking the Newmans and Billy Abbott joining in. They are definitely ready to dance on their proverbial graves. As we always do on Early Edition Day, we start with what's coming the rest of this week and then dive into what's ahead next week. On Wednesday, January 14th, we've got Sharon Newman checking in with Noah Newman, asking how Sienna Bacall is sleeping. She's exhausted and Noah can't sleep. He's so upset that Matt almost killed Sienna and that Nick Newman got hurt. Sharon tries to calm Noah down, but he says he can't until he knows that Matt is behind bars or dead. Tessa Porter shows up to check on Nick and Sienna, and Sharon is surprised to find out Tessa knows Sienna from a tour years back. Noah leaves to check on his lady, while Tessa catches Sharon up on Mariah Copeland bailing on her and Aria Porter Copeland. Mariah left the mental hospital without telling anybody and refused to take their calls on Christmas. Tessa says Mariah's just not getting any better, and she tells Sharon that Mariah doesn't seem to need any of them. Tessa says she only knows any of this because of the family tracking app and tells Sharon she's filing for a divorce. It's over. She can't keep living like this. Sharon thinks something is behind Mariah's behavior. She wants Tessa to give Mariah more time, but Tessa refuses. She says she can't keep telling Aria Porter Copeland that Mama Mariah is coming home when it's not true. Tessa says it's not fair to her and not fair to Aria. Then, she and Sharon hug it out while they are crying. Nick gets a visit from Adam Newman while he's in the hospital. Nick says he feels crappy and the doctors have upped his pain meds. He starts asking about Matt Clark, and Adam says that Jack Abbott and Kyle Abbott have the guy. They wanted to trade Matt for the AI, but Victor Newman didn't make the deal. Nick assumes Matt's in jail, but Adam says, nope. Adam mentions that the AI has turned on them and the family company is being gutted. They think Cain, Ashby, and Phyllis did it, and Victor has gone to confront them. Nick is frustrated to be bedridden and out of the action. Adam tells him Jack threatened to let Matt go if they didn't hand over the AI. Adam's just hoping Jack will keep Matt locked up because Victor can't hand over the AI. He lost control of it. Nick is very upset about Matt not being in jail and insists that Adam helps him get out of the hospital. Like a good little brother, he does. Meanwhile, Victor confronts Cain and Phyllis about the AI attack. Victor wants to know if Phyllis hacked in or if she had a back door. She just laughs and says Newman Enterprises is theirs, and he cannot stop her or Cain. Victor ignores Phyllis and her taunting and asks Cain what he wants to stop this. Victor offers him Arabesque, the company that he gutted with this same AI. But Cain says Victor has nothing to offer them. He ruined everything Cain and Colin Atkinson worked for, and then dragged his family name through the mud in public. Victor decides insulting Cain and Colin is the way to go. Then, Cain offers to sell Victor Arabesque for a cheap price, because it's not worth much now. Victor promises payback on them both, but Phyllis says he's already lost. Victor vows that Summer Newman will despise Phyllis for this, and he storms out on Young and the Restless. Victoria Newman tells Nikki Newman that not only is the AI destroying things, but somebody at Newman leaked info to the press, which is making things worse. Nikki says this is all Victor's fault. She begged him to destroy the AI, but he wanted to keep it and use it on Jabot. Victoria seems certain that Victor can make Cain stop, but Nikki doesn't think so because Cain's holding all the cards. Claire Grace Newman shows up and asks what's happening. They tell her about the AI attack and mention that Nick's doing all right. Claire hears that this AI is tearing Newman apart and asks, "Oh, you mean the AI that Victor lied to my face and said he didn't have?" Victoria tries to soften that, but she finally has to admit Victor was going to use it against Jack. Claire is not going to like that at all. They think Phyllis has turned this AI around on them. Victor shows up and says Phyllis and Cain definitely did it and won't make a deal. Assets are disappearing to parts unknown. He tells Nikki and Victoria they may have to start selling off what's left of Newman to save anything. Nikki is horrified and blames Victor because of his vendetta against Jack. She calls his judgment into question. Victor rages at her and blames Damian, Cain, and Phyllis. Nikki claps back, reminding him she told him to destroy the AI, and none of this would be happening if he had listened. Victor then changes channels and starts ranting about Nikki and Jack. Victoria gets between them just as Nick and Adam come in. Nick is on crutches and looking pretty bad. Adam says his brother refused to stay in the hospital. Nick says he thinks he can stop this and will go talk to Phyllis. He believes she'll listen to him. Meanwhile, Cain and Phyllis are having a drink and talking about having no regrets regarding destroying Newman. On Thursday, January 15th, Nick keeps a secret from Sharon, likely regarding his growing pain issues. Sally Spectra pushes Billy and makes him come clean to her. She knows from eavesdropping on him and Jack that Billy still wants revenge and payback on Victor. Plus, Billy has a meeting with Cain this week. Billy still wants Chancellor and sees an opportunity to get it in this mess. Phyllis has to defend her actions, probably to Nick, who thinks he can talk her out of what they're doing. I guarantee he cannot dissuade Phyllis. He's going to try and threaten her with Summer like Victor did. But Phyllis may remind Nick that Victor was using the AI on Cain and Matt and planned to do the same to Jack. Phyllis is going to say, "Look, your dad is the bad guy here, not me." On Friday, January 16th, Noah hears shocking info about Matt. It may be that Victor let the guy go because he wanted to keep leverage for revenge. Plus, Diane Jenkins tries to get info about Victor out of Michael Baldwin. Diane wants all the tea on the Newman drama. Nick goes to Jack for help. I'm sure Nick wants Matt either 6 feet under or locked up. He may also ask Jack to help reason with Phyllis. During the week of January 19th through the 23rd, Sally starts to see that everybody was right about Billy all along. It's one thing after another, and she has a major decision to make soon that may mean trouble for her and Billy's relationship. Victor is under fire from his family and is getting angrier. He's not going to admit he screwed up and will continue to blame Cain and Phyllis. The Newmans are scrambling to save assets, but they may lose a lot before the AI has run its course. Phyllis and Cain are feeling great about it. However, Victor may soon see that he needs Jack to work with him to neutralize the massive threats. We'll see if those two circle around to threaten Jack as well. Finally, Michael Lauren Fenmore's marriage gets rocky over the Newman mess, and Sharon may have a strong reaction when she sees Tessa with Daniel Romalotti.